REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. Theo Walcott's second-half winner against Newcastle moved Everton up to 8th, their highest position in the Premier League table since August. In the first match since Everton fans were asked by their club to rate manager Sam Allardyce out of 10, Walcott's strike 6 minutes after the interval at Goodison Park elevated them to a place they had not been in since the second game of the season. The 1-0 victory also ended Newcastle's 4-match winning streak and prevented Rafael Benitez's side from leapfrogging the Toffees in the standings. Despite the upturn in form under Allardyce, there was a visual indicator of the fan feeling towards him when a banner was unfurled before kickoff that read, "Our survey says, get out of our club." REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. With football was not amazing. 22-30, Newcastle boss Rafael Benitez, "We play as a team. The style, the type of football was not amazing, but they won and that was it. We had 2 or 3 chances. I thought we were very close, to a point. I am pleased with the effort of the players, but this final pass in the final third can make the difference. We are really strong. Just to stay in the Premier League was the target and we are really pleased with that. We have to be ready for the next game. What's wrong with our style?" 22-27, now this is a defensive response if I've ever heard one. Asked about criticism from supporters, Sam Allardyce said, "If we lose next week they won't be there. If we keep winning we keep getting better. I think 8th in the league compared to 5th from bottom tells you we're getting better. What was wrong with our style today? We dominated the game, outpassed the opposition. You have to be patent, you can't knock our football. You can knock some of the passing that goes astray, but you can't knock me for that. I don't pass the ball. We try and limit those mistakes every week." Everton scored with their only shot on target tonight. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. We had a dip. 22-23, Newcastle captain Jamal Lascelles, "I'm still really pleased with the team. We had a dip tonight but we'll be back working hard for Saturday. Very satisfying." 22-20, Theo Walcott, "It's very satisfying. We were under a lot of pressure at the end but we held on and did the job. I have to say Seamus Coleman's defensive header at the end was just as good as my goal. Everyone did their defensive jobs. Everyone was behind us and it was good to get the 3 points after some disappointing results. I have scored a lot of goals on the left side and sometimes you can be isolated up front by yourself, so I think you'll see me on the left a lot more now. I'm pretty sure about that. It's been hit and miss this season, but it's just getting to know the balance and the way we want to play. You expect to be higher up in the table, but it's just been one of those seasons." REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. We dominated the game. 22-15, Everton boss Sam Allardyce, "Apart from the last 10 minutes we dominated the game. There's only going to be one winner. We didn't score the second goal and they put us under pressure in last 5 minutes and we defended well. We go into Huddersfield next week to see if we can carry on this run. We've moved up the League One place. We are on track and going in the right direction. Well done Theo Walcott, 3 goals now as well as his assists. It's a game-changing winner." Twitter roundup Tim, "I think they should give the Man of the Match award to charity. Rafa is underrated and undervalued. I know the Geordies love him but he's wasted at that level. He is capable of leading a title challenge, just not with this Newcastle team. I don't understand where Everton fans expect their team to be. They're 8th behind the top 6, a Burnley team who had a very good season, and the champions of 2 seasons ago. Evertonians should be happy, especially with their average squad." Sky Sports Everton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. Blimey, 22-08, now that was a loaded question. Dave Jones, the Sky Sports presenter, just asked Theo Walcott what the differences were between Sam Allardyce and Arsene Wenger. "Have you got 9 hours, Dave?" "Yeah, they are completely different levels of the way they manage. I think everyone can tell that." Walcott responded, "Much needed 3 points." 22-05, Everton goal scorer Theo Walcott, "They put us under pressure and I've got to say that Seamus Coleman's defending at the end was as good as my goal. It was a much needed 3 points after a disappointing run of results." The standings, 2200, this is the first time that Everton have kept 5 consecutive clean sheets against a single opponent in the Premier League. Quite an amazing statistic really. Anyway, that win sees Everton leapfrog Leicester into 8th position on 45 points, 4 ahead of Newcastle who remain in 10th. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. Everton 1-0 Newcastle. Everton have done it. Sam Allardyce's side have beaten Newcastle 1-0 at Goodison Park courtesy of a second-half Theo Walcott goal. Reaction on the way. 95 Pickford gets a huge cheer from the Everton fans, and Sunderland ones watching, as he gestures something at the Newcastle supporters. 94 Offside call against Gale as Newcastle push forward, and that may be the last attack at Goodison Park. Baines comes to the sideline for treatment on a cut. Blood all over the left back's face. 92 Newcastle just keep coming, although the final ball is lacking without Shelvey on the pitch. Kennedy concedes a needless foul on Gay to halt their momentum. 90 Wayne Rooney might want to consider a role at centre-back because he's headed away a couple of threatening crosses. Handbags. Kennedy and Gay have a shoving match over very little, and they are both booked. Somehow we've got 5 minutes of stoppage time here. I've no idea where it's come from. Getty. Everton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. 88 I don't know whether it's nerves or a protest against Allardyce, but it's silent around Goodison Park tonight. Penalty appeal, the ball cannons off a couple of players before it flicks off Jagielka's arm. The defender looks sheepishly at referee Robert Madley, who waves play away. You've seen him given. 87 Close. Gale does well to beat Keane in the air, and Murphy wins a corner. Rooney just steals it off Diam's toes at the back post before Calvert-Lewin clears. Omar Niasse replaces Hank Tosin, who gets a decent round of applause. 85 Boos around the stadium as former Liverpool midfielder John Joe Shelvey is replaced by Mikel Merino. Long memories, these Everton fans. 82 Substitute Tom Davies is getting Everton into trouble with the number of times he's given the ball away. Calvert-Lewin looks to relieve the pressure with a charge forward, but Dummett's got his number. 80 Jacob Murphy joins the party. He's on for Matt Ritchie. Let's see what the £12 million man can do as we enter the final 10 minutes here at Goodison Park. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. 77 This could be it. The visitors have a free kick in a great position for the Magpies after Keane takes down Gale. Matt Ritchie steps up, over. Probably a little too close to goal if that makes sense. 76 Rafa Benitez has a rather angry demeanor on the Newcastle bench. His side have stepped it up, but they've created too many chances. 75 Everton starting to look vulnerable at the back as Newcastle plunder forward. Perez flicks Kennedy's cross goalwards, but Pickford gathers. 73 Keane Perez. It's the Everton centre-back who's come off worse as he receives treatment on the deck. He's fine. 70 Things are getting a bit feisty now, with Kennedy and Coleman enjoying a duel or two. The Brazilian looks pretty fired up now as he bends across into the box that Keane is forced to nod behind for a corner. 67 Oh my word, only Dwight Gale will know how he's missed that. A corner drops to the substitute inside the 6-yard box, and somehow he's knocked it over. 65 Substitution for Newcastle. Dwight Gale is on in place of Islam Slimani. I think that's Rafa Benitez going for mobility over physicality. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. 63 We've got a game on our hands now. Both sides are opening up now, and that's allowing players like Perez, Walcott, and Davies into the game. Sam Allardyce makes a change with Dominic Calvert-Lewin replacing Yannick Bolasie. 60 Terrific low ball across the penalty area by Perez, but there's nobody there to get a shot away, and Baines clears. 59 Theo Walcott has been directly involved in 10 goals in his last 9 Premier League games against Newcastle. 5 goals, 5 assists. 56 Wayne Rooney winds one up after a neat 1-2 with Tom Davies, but he's blasted it a few yards wide. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. 54 Everton are forced into a change with Morgan Schneiderlin being replaced by Tom Davies. It looks like Matt Ritchie caught his ankle with a late challenge. 53 That Ios Perez miss is looking mighty large now. Just shows how quickly a game can turn. Everton 1-0 Newcastle, WALCOTT 50, and there's the breakthrough. Walcott breaks the deadlock with a clinical finish after Newcastle failed to clear their lines. He makes himself a couple of yards before firing into the roof of the net. Jordan Pickford, a Sunderland supporter, celebrates like he's won the World Cup. 48 Chance. After a terribly dull opening 3 minutes, Ios Perez has a golden opportunity to give Newcastle the lead. He collects Kennedy's pass, but he stabs the ball wide under pressure from Michael Keane. 45 And we're back underway, folks. What do you reckon? Handbrake off, chances aplenty on goals galore? I wouldn't hold your breath. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. Bobby. They can't all be winners, lads. Twitter roundup on Drew, that's the Perez most Newcastle fans know and love to hate. The odd tap-in doesn't absolve him of his normally poor play for the majority of most matches. Andy, anyone questioning why we want Allardyce gone, should be watching this match. Another 45 minutes likely to end without a shot on target. Dyer. Flassman, seeing Rooney pass the ball to Walcott is like when you've played Football Manager for 5 seasons straight and the game simulation has made some odd choices regarding transfers. Still seems strange. And yes, other football management games are available. That might be my favorite comment of all time. Flaxman. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. Everton 0-0 NEWCASTLEHT, this one is unlikely to make any highlights packages. Everton have created the better chances but everything's far too predictable and Newcastle are mopping up the danger with relative ease. One shot on target, .45, Leighton Baines battles his way through the middle of the park and somehow sends a ball across the penalty area but there's not a single blue shirt anticipating it. .43, Everton ending the half on the front foot but Dubravka remains untested between the sticks. Baines sends a free kick in from the left but Lascelles clears. .40, comedy of errors. Pickford is far too casual with his clearance and it cannons off Kennedy straight to Perez. He only needs a simple pass to set Slimani one-on-one with the Everton goalkeeper but fluffs it. .37, it should be 1-0. Keane nods Rooney's lofted cross into the path of the stretching Jagielka, who balloons it over the crossbar. That's easily the best chance of the match. .35, this is bad folks. Please send snacks and refreshments to Express HQ. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. 33, couple of half chances for Newcastle. Actually, we'll call them quarter chances as Slimani heads a looping cross goalwards and Pickford claims a speculative Richie cross. .30, okay, we've reached the half-hour mark and I count exactly 0 shots on target. Yedlin does well to prevent the first by tracking Walcott into the area and toe-poking the ball away. .28, Yannick Bolasie attempts a bit of fancy footwork but he's fooled nobody and the ball rolls out of play. Leighton Baines just stood waiting for the simple pass that never arrived. .25, the ball falls kindly to Perez, who promptly skies it. Not one of his finest. .23, Yedlin and Shelvey exchange a neat couple of passes in Newcastle territory before the fullback storms down the right flank. His cutback is wayward and Schneiderlin clears. .20, Newcastle fans taunting the Everton supporters with, "You've got Sam Allardyce, you've got Sam Allardyce," no doubting the accuracy of that particular chant. .18, Schneiderlin looks to release Walcott with a diagonal pass but it's slightly ahead of the winger. Dumb, it was caught ball watching. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. 15, Pickford's reading of the game is going to be crucial tonight. Keane and Jagielka aren't the quickest centre-backs in the world and the goalkeeper has already rushed off his line twice to meet long balls forward. Perhaps Gale would give him more to think about than Slimani. .12, Everton enjoy a period of sustained pressure, but Newcastle nearly catch them cold. The Rafa Benitez's side look to counter and Jordan Pickford is forced to race out of goal as Kennedy runs onto a long ball. .9, Idrissa Gueye looks to have been handed the task of man-marking John Joe Shelvey for the evening, sticking to him like glue in the opening stages. .6, penalty appeal. Walcott, who's a tad quicker than Dummett if you weren't aware, steals in ahead of the fullback who catches his ankle. Referee Robert Madley isn't interested. .3, it's been a fairly low-key start with neither side stomping their authority. But wait, Walcott scuffs a pass that bounces off Yedlin and falls to Tosin, who swipes it wide. No real control with the strike. .1, and we're off. The epic battle for an 8th-placed finish begins. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. The robot mascot, 2000. No, Peter Crouch isn't in attendance dancing for the masses. 14-year-old Everton fan Jack McLindon became part of Premier League history tonight, serving as a remote matchday mascot against Newcastle with the aid of a robot. Jack suffers from multiple health conditions and has severely reduced mobility but was able to savor the experience of joining his heroes on the pitch thanks to the telepresence robot AV1. The unit was carried onto the field by the Everton captain Phil Jagielka, with Jack enjoying the occasion in real time via a camera, microphone and speaker linked with his tablet and also interacting with Toffee's players in the tunnel. The program, 1955, I see that the Clausen family are tonight's match program sponsor. They sponsored the match ball a few weeks ago. So I make that an upgrade and his largest involvement this season. Congratulations, Davey. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. Everton vs Newcastle 1953, quick reminder. Oh, and for the regulars to this blog, I've got Leighton Baines in my fantasy football teams tonight. A hat-trick from the left back and I may rise from the bottom of the Express League like a beautiful salmon. Everton 11, Pickford, Coleman, Jagielka, Keane, Baines, Gay, Schneiderlin, Walcott, Rooney, Balassi, Tosin subs, Robles, Martina, Niasse, Funes Mori, Davies, Calvert-Lewin, Banajim. Newcastle 11, Dubravka, Yedlin, Lascelles, Lejeune, Dummett, Shelby, Diame, Perez, Ritchie, Kennedy, Slimani subs, Darlow, Clark, Murphy, Gale, Hayden, Manquillo, Marino. 1950, it's been over a decade since Sam Allardyce was sacked as manager of Newcastle, but for some unknown reason, we're still talking about it. The 63-year-old lasted just 8 months at St. James's Park as fans quickly turned against him. It's been that long. I have nothing but respect for the football club, said Allardyce. It felt unjust but I have moved on. Great, let's never mention it again. Getty Everton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. Benitez gossip 1945, now don't shoot the messenger here, lads. There's a fair few rumors about Rafa Benitez flying around at the moment, including a few suggesting he should succeed Arsene Wenger at Arsenal. Any contract extension for Benitez appears to hinge on assurances from owner Mike Ashley about his ambitions for the club next season. The former Liverpool boss, who has kept the Magpies out of the relegation zone on their return to the top flight, is now looking to add some silverware to the club's trophy cabinet next season. My advice? Give him a bloody big war chest and watch him fly. Rooney Tunes 1940? I've absolutely no idea what Rooney Tunes was supposed to mean, but it just felt right. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that Wayne Rooney enjoys playing Newcastle. He's scored 15 Premier League goals against them, that's more than he's netted against any other opponent. In fact, only Alan Shearer vs Leeds, 20, has a better record against one specific side. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. Twitter round UParent, Sam Allardyce had to start winning right away, and that's exactly what he did. Now everyone is moaning and fuming about his style. He's Sam Allardyce. What did you expect? And maybe he can get more out of the players with a full season. Grab, Sam Allardyce is a truly dreadful manager and a vile human being. Will you please sack him? He is not Everton. He is a gravy stain on our history. Not one Everton supporter wants him at the club. John, I said it last year and I'll say it again, Everton should do all they can to get Rafa Benitez in as manager. The job he's done at Newcastle with the squad he's got is remarkable, up there with manager of the year for me. Who's next? 1930, it has come to my attention that Newcastle are to Premier League bosses what Aaron Ramsey is to high-profile celebrities. Bad news, asterisk, Newcastle beat Stoke, Mark Hughes sacked, asterisk, Newcastle beat Southampton, Mauricio Pellegrino sacked, asterisk, Newcastle beat Arsenal, Arsene Wenger announces he's leaving. Getty Everton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. Rafa warning 1925, Rafa Benitez says he cannot perform miracles every year and needs to have the players at his disposal that can compete in the Premier League. Seems reasonable, but I expect it'll be a great deal more difficult than that. I cannot do miracles every year, so then you have to have the tools to be sure that you can do your job. Benitez told reporters, I like to win, I want to win games and I want to win trophies. I want to be capable of competing, and if you want to compete in the Premier League or this market, then you have to compete in everything. I'd like to do that, and at the same time, I like to improve players, coach players, follow a business plan, a realistic business plan in modern football. I have no problem with that because I did it in the past. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. Bobby, 1920, oh look, it's Roberto Martinez. The former Everton and Belgian manager is tonight's guest on Monday Night Football. Things might have ended badly for him at Goodison Park, but he still speaks about the Toffees fondly with a great deal of respect. Allardyce, what happens next? 1915, Everton boss Sam Allardyce jokingly awarded himself a rating of 11 out of 10 after Toffees fans were sent a survey asking how they felt the former England manager was managing at Goodison Park. Although Allardyce steadied the ship earlier in the season after a dreadful start to the campaign under Ronald Koeman, his style and tactics have led to calls for him to leave this summer. The 63-year-old has a chance to turn some of the detractors in his favor tonight, especially if he sets up a side to entertain, but he will be fearful that Rafael Benitez's men have won their last 4 and will leapfrog Everton into 9th with a win. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. Team news, Everton 1910, nice and simple. Everton are unchanged from the side that drew 1-1 against Swansea. That means St. Tosin continues in attack, supported by Yannick Bolasie and Theo Walcott on either flank, with Wayne Rooney in just behind. Team news, Newcastle 1905. The big news is that Algeria international and Leicester loanee Islam Slimani makes his first start since joining the club in January. He replaces Dwight Gale. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and updates. Everton vs Newcastle 1900, and here are your lineups for tonight's clash, folks. Everton 11, Pickford, Coleman, Jagielka, Keane, Baines, Gay, Schneiderlin, Walcott, Rooney, Bolasie. Tosin subs, Robles, Martina, Niasse, Funes Mori, Davies, Calvert-Lewin, Banajim. Newcastle 11, Dubravka, Yedlin, Lascelles, Lejeune, Dummett, Shelby, Diame, Perez, Ritchie, Kennedy, Slimani subs, Darlow, Clark, Murphy, Gale, Hayden, Manquillo, Marino. REUTERSEverton vs Newcastle, Premier League latest score, news and update. Shave yours 1858. If you want to vent your frustrations, or discuss any issues in the world of football, within reason, then get in touch. You can either comment at the bottom of the page or contact me via Twitter using the hashtag Evening 1855. Welcome to our live coverage of the Premier League, with Newcastle making the trip to Goodison Park. On paper, this match looks like a dead rubber that you would go to great lengths to avoid, with both sides fighting for a top 10 finish. Although you soon realize your only other options on TV are Nightmare Pets SOS or Coronation Street, but there's more to this clash than meets the eye, with Sam Allardyce needing an eye-catching performance to convince Everton fans that he should remain in the job. We'll look at that in more depth later, but let's have the lineups and team news first. Everton vs Newcastle. Everton midfielder Gylfi Sigurdsson is back training outside for his rehabilitation sessions but will not be available. The Iceland international is still a few weeks away from recovering fully from a knee injury. Defender Mason Holgate may also make a return from an ankle problem before the end of the season. Christian Atsu is out for Newcastle through injury. The winger has a minor knee problem and will not be risked. Loan signing Islam Slimani is still awaiting his first start for the club after 2 appearances as a substitute. Last 5 league matches, Everton WWLDD, Newcastle LWWWTOP. Goal scorers, all competitions, Wayne Rooney, Everton, 11, Ios Perez, Newcastle, 7. Referee, Robert Madley, West Yorkshire.